Greetings from MWN.com. Dr.M.Wilson, formerly Vice Principal and Head of Department of Commerce, Scott Christian College, Nagercoil is delighted in presenting this session. Thank you. Please subscribe the channel MWN.com. Idle time and overtime. Idle time. Idle time is the difference between the time spent by the worker in the factory and the time spent in a job for productive purpose. For example, the workers may spend 8 hours in a factory and may spend 6 hours in the job. Then the 2 hours during which the worker remains idle, without productive work, is called idle time. Normally, wages is paid for 8 hours including the idle time. Idle time is of two types. They are 1. Normal idle time and 2. Abnormal idle time. 1. Normal idle time. Normal idle time arises due to unavoidable circumstances. It may arise due to the following reasons. 1. Time lost due to moving of workers from factory gate to place of work. 2. Time lost in moving from one job to another. 3. Time lost in moving from one machine to another machine. 4. Time lost due to normal fatigue, minor accidents, and personal needs. 5. Time lost due to delay in the supply of material and instruction. 2. Abnormal idle time. Idle time arises due to abnormal situation is called abnormal idle time. The following are the reasons of abnormal idle time. 1. Machine breakdown. 2. Excessive waiting time for material and instruction. 3. Strikes, lockout, fire, floods, etc. 4. Excessive power failure. 5. Non-availability of materials. Control of idle time. Normal idle time could not be controlled. The expenses connected with normal idle time are unavoidable. Abnormal idle time can be controlled to some extent. Proper planning and control can minimize the cost of abnormal idle time. It can be controlled through the following steps. 1. Proper maintenance of machine can prevent the machine breakdown. 2. Timely purchase of material. 3. Avoiding delay in the supply of material from store and delay in the instruction. 4. Power failure can be prevented through internal power generators. Treatment of the cost of idle time. Expenses connected with normal idle time is unavoidable and hence they should be treated as cost of production. It forms part of the factory cost. The expenses or loss arising due to abnormal idle time cannot be considered as part of the cost of production. It should be treated as an abnormal loss and transferred to the costing profit and loss account. Overtime. Overtime is the time spent by workers over and above the normal working hours. According to the Factories Act 1948, the normal working hour is 8 hours per day or 48 hours per week. Hence, if the worker worked more than 8 hours in a day or 48 hours in a week, the extra hours worked are called overtime. Overtime is paid normally at double the rate of the normal time. If the Factories Act is not applied in an organization, then the overtime premium is double the rate or 1.5 the rate or reasonably high rate. Overtime premium is an additional expenditure for a concern. Hence, it should be discouraged. Since overtime is a gain for the workers, they may postpone the normal work to be done as overtime. Overtime can be controlled through proper planning, supervision, and control of the work. The workers should be instructed to do the minimum work in a day. In addition to this, effective supervision should be carried on to get quality work. Treatment of overtime premium. Treatment of overtime premium is based on the reasons for the overtime. The different treatments of overtime are stated as follows. 1. Overtime premium is charged to the particular job order for which overtime is paid. 2. Overtime premium is treated as a factory overhead if it is paid due to increase in production to meet a seasonal demand. 3. Overtime premium is charged to capital work order account, if it is paid for capital order like maintenance and fabrication of machines for internal use. 4. Overtime premium is charged to costing profit and loss account, if the overtime is due to abnormal situations like fire, flood, strike or lockout. 5. If overtime is caused due to the fault of any particular department, such overtime premium should be charged to that particular department.